So right now I'm going to be processing my M33 Triangulum galaxy data. This was shot with a ZWO ASI533mc Pro one-shot color and a Redcat 51. And this was shot from bortle 3 skies, so pretty dark. I probably wouldn't have even attempted this from home. I live at about bortle 7. But let's get into it. All right. And this isn't going to be like a beginner guide. There's so many like Pixinsight intro beginner videos on YouTube. This is not what that's going to be. This is just going to be me processing my own data. Maybe you can learn something from it, or maybe you can leave me a comment and I can learn something from you. All right, let's go ahead and hit that auto stretch. And that looks disgusting. Let's open up the STF, unlink the channels, hit it again, and it still looks pretty ugly. All right, from here there's two things that we could do. It depends on the target. Sometimes I will go in and do photometric color calibration first and then run DBE. But if I remember correctly, with this target, it actually worked better when I ran DBE first and then did like the old school way of color calibration. So we're gonna do that. I wish I could give credit to whoever I learned this from. I don't remember. I've watched so many Pixinsight videos, but what I'm gonna do is set the tolerance to 2, shadows to 6, and then sample generation for the sample radius. I'm gonna go pretty large. I'm gonna do 150. Might even go larger than that, do 175. And I only do this on targets like this, where the main structure is in the center and the rest is pretty much open space. If there was a lot of nebulosity out here in the corners, I wouldn't do this method. I would, manually plot the points and make sure that I'm not landing on anything other than blank space. But with this method, it's easy because you don't have to worry about putting sample points over stars. So what I'm going to do is go and delete everything except the sample points on the outside. All right, and then go here to target image correction, subtraction, discard, replace. I've seen some people do division and subtraction. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. Nothing noticeable for me, so I just do subtraction. I'm gonna go ahead and run that. All right, let's get rid of the auto stretch, re-stretch it, and it looks a little better. Still looking green, but we're gonna do some color calibration first, and then some SCNR to get rid of that green. All right, so first thing, I'm going to, where's my preview button? All right, let's go in here. New preview. I don't know where my preview button went, but it's not there. All right, what we're gonna do is just grab a little bit of this background sky, try not to grab any stars, and then go to process, background, color calibration, background neutralization. For the reference image, we're gonna choose preview 1, hit OK, run it, and that made it even more green, but that's all right. Now we're gonna make another preview, and we're gonna grab the galaxy here in the middle. Now we're gonna go back to color calibration again. For the white reference, we're gonna choose this preview, which is preview 2. And then for the background reference, we're gonna choose that original background that preview we made. All right, go ahead and run that. And looks a lot better. Let's go ahead and get rid of these previews. I don't need them. It is still looking a little green, at least out here on the edges. So what I'm gonna do is open up SCNR and let's run it at about 50%. Perfect. All right, from here, I'm gonna run Blur Exterminator. If you don't have Russell Croman's tools, the BlurX, NoiseX, StarX. I would highly recommend getting them. I am by no means a Pixinsight expert. Deconvolution has always been, I'm just not very good at it. This makes it so easy. I'm just going to run it on default settings. Just apply it. That's going to take a second, so I'll probably skip forward a little bit in the video. Alright, so let's see how that did. Let's go ahead and show the before and the after. I just love what that does to the stars. And a good thing about it, if you have, you know, like oval shaped stars on the edge, let me go to before. I mean, my star, they look pretty good as it is, but if you have some oval shaped stars, this will really help with the star shape. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is run the noise exterminator. And even though I shot this from dark skies, it is only 5 hours of data, so there is some noise in there. I'm gonna bump this down to about 70%. I don't wanna overdo it. Go ahead and run that. Again, it might take a minute, so I might just fast forward. Boom. All right. Maybe could have gone a little bit heavier on it, but I think it looks pretty good. One thing you don't want to do is just go overkill on the noise reduction, because that can just kill all of your detail. All right. So normally from here, I would go ahead and pull the stars in the linear state, but I found with this target, you have these like starry regions in here, and I definitely want to keep those. And I found that if I pull the stars too early, and then when I add them back in later, all of this kind of turns into like a stringy looking nebulosity. It doesn't have the look that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stretch this a little bit, and I'm just going to use the histogram transformation. You can use generalized hyperbolic stretch if you want, but for this I'm just going to use the histogram. Just probably open up a preview. I'm going to stretch this up. Go ahead and apply that. Reset. Stretch a little more. Apply that. Bring down the blacks. Bring this up a little bit more. I don't want to overstretch the stars. Let's go ahead and set that there and see how we're looking. Close that. Alright, so you can see we have those starry regions visible. Now what I'm going to do when I pull the stars, I'm actually going to make a mask. Go to mask generation, range selection, open up a preview, reset that. I'm going to click screening so I can see what's going on here. And I just want the galaxy region. I'm going to go ahead and bump up the fuzziness a little bit. I want that outer stuff. And then I'm really going to smooth this out. Get rid of all, you don't want any of these stars in the mask. So I'm going to smooth that out, get rid of all those. Apply. Alright. Let's throw that mask on there. Minimize. Get rid of this, I don't need it. And let's go ahead with StarX, generate star image, and see how this does. It's going to take a minute, so I'll fast forward. You know what? I'm an idiot. I didn't invert the mask. So we need to invert this mask. There we go. So this is what it's protecting. And now it's going to pull out the stars. Man, like I said, I'm no expert. Okay. Now we got what we need. Alright, let's remove that mask on both. Alright, so here's our starless image, and you can see the areas that I wanted to protect are still there, those starry regions. And where did my star image go? There it is. I probably could have gone a little more aggressive with the mask. You can see it did pull a little bit, but for the sake of this video, I think you get the point. Alright, that is our star image. Let me get that over here and not close it on accident, which I have done before. Okay, look at all these little things in the background, things that I probably wouldn't have even picked up from home. I don't know why those stars are still in there. It doesn't matter. Alright, what I'm going to do from here, I would hit it with the generalized hyperbolic stretch, but I think it looks pretty good the way it is right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make another mask. Going to reset that. And I'm just going to select the galaxy. Let me hit that. And I'll leave it right there. Let me blur it. That might be, the edges might be a little too rough, but we'll see. I think it'll be fine. Excuse me. Alright, I'm going to open up curves. And I'm just going to hit this with some saturation. Bump that up. I'm probably going to need to run it a few times. Run it again. Alright, so it's looking pretty blue and green. So I'm going to reset that. I'm going to pull down the green a little bit, just a little bit. And then I'm going to bump up that saturation again. Now we're getting some nice blue and pink. Let me see what happens if I bump up the red just a touch. Just a touch. There we go. I'm going to hit that. And I'm not going to run it again. But I probably will add a little bit more. Let's actually hit the C component. Bump that up a little bit. And let's bring the saturation up some more. Let's see what happens if I bring the green down just a tad bit. Right about there. Bump the red just a smidge. Apply that. Alright, reset. I'm going to leave it there for now. We can always add more saturation later. Let me remove that mask. And this is what we're working with. Looks pretty good, I think. The next thing I want to do, though, you know what? I am going to open up generalized hyperbolic stretch. Let's see here. I'm going to go linear and bring down the background a little bit. I don't want to clip too much. Reset. And, sorry, my nose is running. I got allergies today. I am going to try to bring out some of the fainter stuff. So I'm going to click here, and that's going to send the symmetry point right here on the histogram. Go ahead and send, and then I'm going to bump it up just a touch. See a little before and after. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it, so I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Reset. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to try to bring out some of the structure in those spiral areas. So I'm going to make another range mask. Reset, screening on, bring this down, bring the fuzziness up and smooth it just a little bit. Alright, let's apply that mask. And from here, I'm going to open up intensity transformations, local histogram equalization. This is what I had it set to last time. I think it actually worked out pretty well. So set a preview, before and after. So before, after. I think that's actually perfect. So if you want to look at those settings, that's what I'm using. But it just kind of adds a little bit of depth in those spiral structures. So I'm going to apply that. Going to take just a minute to run. All right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use this mask again, and I'm going to do some sharpening. And I feel like there's a lot of ways to do this, but one way that I learned from Steve from Entering Into Space, love his videos, check him out, very knowledgeable. We're going to go to multi-scale processing and then multi-scale linear transform. Open up a preview. Come on. All right. Let's make a little preview box here. And I feel like, come on now. I feel like this is just trial and error. The settings that you use, or the figures, numbers, whatever you want to call it. So I'm using layers 2, 3, and 4. I'm at 0.07, 0.08, and 0.04. Again, that's just trial and error. I don't even know if you're going to be able to see a difference on YouTube. You're probably like, that's doing nothing at all. But I can definitely see it is sharpening up those dust areas. And I'm going to leave these settings and go ahead and apply. All right. Come on. I think I got too many things going on my computer. Okay, let me go ahead and remove that mask. What else is there to do? You know, I think I am gonna bring a little bit more saturation into this. I don't want to overkill it. Some people, you know, it's all personal taste really, but I'm gonna open up curves again. Saturation. Bump that up. Let's get a closer view. Before, after. I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. That's if I hit it again. Don't think I'm gonna do that though. Let me, yeah, I don't really want to add any more red to it. Tell you what, let me grab the C component, pull that up just a touch. All right, that's plenty. No more. Well, nah. Okay. I think that is about all I'm gonna do with it. Let me pull up my star image now. Let's get this out of the way. All right, so here are my stars, and they look pretty good. I am gonna, you know what? I'm gonna shrink them down just a little bit. Now, I feel like there's a lot of star reduction techniques out there. This is just one that I use, one that I think works pretty well. As long as you don't overdo it. So these are the settings that I got going on. Size 5, 25 elements. I'm gonna set the amount to 40 and see what happens. All right, so here's a little, let me make this bigger. So here's a before and after. Before, after. See, I didn't overdo it. I think it looks pretty good. Next thing I want to do is bump up the saturation of these stars. Let me make a preview of this area right here. Bump that up. And I'm getting some green, so I'm definitely going to have to run SCNR on this. So let me go ahead and do that before I add any more saturation. SCNR green, set it at 90. Perfect. All right, let's open up curves again. And this is another thing, you don't want to overdo it. I do like, for these galaxy images, I do like a bit, you know, a decent amount of star color though. Go right about there. Get some nice oranges, nice blues. Run that. And I'm not going to run it again because I think that would be overkill. All right, let's go ahead and recombine these. Actually, real quick. Let me see if I can pull the background down a little bit. I think it's a little high. Just pull it down a touch. Pull that back up. There we go. Let me reset that. Oh. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I got these process icons from Luca Matico on YouTube. Great channel. Really knowledgeable. A lot of great Pixinsight information. But he has links where you can download these process icons. So he has these super convenient rescreening tools right here. So what you're going to do, you're going to start by going starless for rescreening, then stars for rescreening, drop that on the stars, and then rescreen starless on top of this new image here. And boom. That's what we're left with. Now, I do think maybe I could have brought the size of the stars down a little bit more, but you know, we're not going to worry too much about it. I think that looks pretty good. Just for the hell of it, let's open up curves real quick. Let's plot a point down here. Let's bring up the galaxy just a touch. Not too much. Let's see. Oh, well, I don't know why I was doing that. I'm going to apply it. And I'm not going to hit it again. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. Got nice star color, nice even background, some nice detail in the galaxy. Just for the hell of it, I learned the other day this technique from, again, Steve entering into space. So you got all these tiny little, I think what he called them was nuisance stars, something like that. One thing that you can do to add a little bit of depth to your image is blur out those stars. So what I'm going to do is go to mask generation, range selection. See if I even remember how to do this. All right. So we want to protect the galaxy, the whole galaxy. We want to protect that. And then we're going to start blurring out. And you can see here, you got all those tiny little points. When I start blurring, some of those start disappearing, but you don't want to go too far and just lose all those, like all the larger stars. So we're going to go right about, I don't want to lose any of the galaxies, so let me make sure I'm not. And we'll go right about there, I think. Well, this is trial and error. It might be a little tough to get. We'll just try that just for the sake of the video. I don't want to take too long on it. And we'll see how that works. I believe the next thing he did was to open up that mask. Which mask is it? This one? Yes. And then he clipped the mask. We'll try it right there, see how that works. This might not work at all. I just want to try it because I thought it was a pretty cool technique. All right, let's throw that mask on here and invert this mask because we want to protect the galaxy and those larger stars. So you can see a lot of those stars are being protected, but a lot of them, like the tiny little ones, aren't. And I probably did not do a good job making this mask. You can see there's a lot of stars that aren't protected, but we're just going to go for it. All right, what I'm going to do is open up convolution, reset that, and let's just get a preview right here. So if I start moving that forward, you don't want to overdo it because then it's just going to look funny. So let me reset it and just bump that forward a touch. I don't know if you're going to be able to see much on YouTube. Let's bring it back a little bit. And these brighter stars and my galaxy are staying nice and sharp, but those background stars are being blurred out a little bit. So I'm going to apply that. Remove this mask. Do a little before and after. Oh, well. Show mask. All right, a little before and after. Just adds a little bit more depth to the image. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call that one done. And I achieved what I wanted, keeping these starry regions. And, you know, this was shot with a little 51mm refractor, so it's not not getting the kind of detail that you would get from shooting with a larger, like Newtonian or something, but I think it turned out pretty damn good. So that is my final image. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and whoever sees this, if you got any information to drop for me in the comments, please do. I'm always looking to learn new information. Take care.